Last night was my worst evening on the road here in Tampa, Florida. It started off with I wanted a cigar to smoke in the Hard Rock here in Tampa, the Hard Rock Casino. So I went over to Ybor City to get a cigar. That turned out pretty good. I got my cigar and I took pictures in Ybor City, which is fun. But Ybor City is the kind of place that's so over photographed it's hard to come up with something different. But at least I tried. We'll see what happens. So I had my cigar, my $7 cigar. Okay. I went to the Hard Rock. Now, what I wanted to do, I was going to go to Burns First Steakhouse because I saw the menu online. And what I wanted was they had escargot appetizer and uh, a lobster appetizer. I wanted two appetizers. I didn't want a dinner. I wanted two appetizers because these are something I don't have at home. So, and then I saw at the Hard Rock menu, they had escargot too. I said, well, why drive over to Burns to get escargot and the lobster salad when I can go to the Hard Rock, which is only 5 minutes away from the hotel? So I'll go over to the Hard Rock. It's Council Oaks is their high-end restaurant. I get over there and I look at their menu outside the restaurant. Yes, they had escargot, but they had no other appetizer that I wanted. So I figured, okay, I can go in there and get escargot, but that's not enough to eat. So I said, you know what? I guess I'm going to have a dinner. So I went in and I sat down. It took them 20 minutes for somebody to show up just to get a drink. So the server comes over and I says, I'll start off with, I want the menu, and I'll start off with the J&B Scotch. And she looks at me. I don't think we have that. I've never been in a place that never heard of J&B Scotch. She says, I'm going to go ask the bartender. So she goes over and asks the bartender. She says, I'm sorry, but the bartender does not have J&B Scotch. I mean, this could only happen like in India or Pakistan. So I says, forget it. I said, and I walked out of the restaurant because I knew right there, if they didn't have J&B Scotch, that means the only kind of Scotch they had was single malt. Okay? And what's single malt going to cost me in a place like that? About $50 a shot. I said, I'm not paying that kind of money for a drink. And then a $50 drink calls for a $10 tip. Forget about it. So I left. And I'm glad I did, because I could see that just wanting two appetizers, starting out wanting two appetizers, I was going to end up with a bill of about $200 for one appetizer, a dinner, a drink, and some wine. As I just come in here to spend about $60. So I think they're going to get me for about $200. Forget about it. In many ways, the Hard Rock in Tampa is a big ripoff. First, because I looked at the menu online, and then I got to the menu actually in front of the restaurant, and the prices had gone up. Well, at their food court, I went over to the food court and I got a pizza and a salad, $12. I went over to the food court, and the prices at the food court were exactly what they were 6 years ago. So they're ripping people off at the high-end restaurant, keep raising the prices on them. The Seminoles get away with it because if you live in Tampa, St. Petersburg, or Brandon, Florida, and you want to gamble, you've got to come to the Hard Rock and pay the price. I mean, there's slots. they start at 50 cents. And then it's between 50 cents and $1. Well, a lot of times you don't want to play 50 cents, or you don't want to play $1. And you know what? It didn't look like it was millionaires in there. But if they want to gamble, they got to pay the Seminole price. And the Seminoles get away with it because there's no competition in casinos. Now, down in South Florida, there's about maybe 4 or 5 casinos down there competing with each other. They don't pull that stuff. The food is reasonable. They got penny machines, and all because they need the people and they compete with one another. If Central Florida ever gets legal gaming, the Seminole Hard Rock is going to go out of business fast. So anyways, that was happening at dinner. Then I decided to take my cigar. I'm going to sit in the bar and I'm going to enjoy it and get a drink and watch the people go by. So I asked for a glass of Merlot at the bar. $9 for a glass of Merlot. I paid it, but I said, what a ripoff. $9 for a glass of Merlot. This place is just a ripoff. So I get my glass of Merlot and I sit down and I light up my cigar, my $7 cigar from Ybor City. This started out pretty good, tasted good. And then the burn started getting worse. A crooked, terrible burn. Like one half of the cigar is lit, the other bottom half is not even touched. And then out the back end of the cigar, it starts spitting out tar. I said, this is another ripoff. Ybor City Cigars. That is the supposed home of cigar making in Florida and probably around the world. And the cigars are terrible compared to what I get online, my cigars I order online, which also happens to come from Tampa. But these cigars in Ybor City are just strictly for tourists, to say that I got a cigar in Ybor City. But it wasn't a $7 cigar. It was a $1 cigar. So it was. And then I sit down, smoke my cigar, and smoked it because I paid $7 for it. So I'm going to smoke the thing. I'm sitting next to 2 guys, young guys. They got headphones on, earbuds, and they're going, oh, whoa, oh, oh, wow, wow, and singing right at the top of the floor, just going crazy, bopping their heads and swinging their arms, sitting there at the table. And one guy comes by who knows him, and I hear him say, these 2 guys say, we're hammered, man. Well, I got up and left because I don't sit next to hammered people at a bar. Because what happens when you sit next to hammered people? They look over at you eventually and say, hey, how you doing, buddy? Hey, buy me a drink. No, I'm not going to buy it. What, you too damn good to buy us a drink, you son of a... Then first thing you know, you got a fight going on in the bar. So I got up and left. So that's my bad news for the evening in Tampa. I've been in Tampa many times at the Hard Rock. This was the worst night I had. The good news was I found a penny machine. I mean, there was only about 2 in the whole place. That was 20 cents penny machine. I played that and I made $10. So I was happy. But that's my story about my worst evening on the road so far on this trip.